Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first ever episode of the Orient Addict podcast. I am your host, Jack. You're probably going to hear a lot of me. I will have two guests today, one Orient fan and one Cambridge fan, and we will be discussing the Cambridge game that has just passed from Saturday. I hope you all enjoy the episode. Drop a like, maybe follow, and if you enjoy it, tell me. And tell me how I can improve and leave any suggestions in the comments on the post. Thank you and enjoy the episode. Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode. I'd like to welcome my next guest. He is an Orient fan. Ross, hello. How
Hello,
are you?
hello. How's it going?
Yeah, it's going good. How did you first get into Orient? How did you first become a fan?
It's a weird story. Just me and my mate. Well, obviously we're from Scotland, and we have both support the same team in Scotland. But then we were like, oh, we'll support an English team. So we just thought we don't like the Premier League, touristy, not my league. So we just went for Leyton Orient because it's quite similar to my team, which
What
is
team do
Dundee.
you support up in? Oh, Dundee. Okay.
Yeah,
How are they
Dundee.
doing at the
Dundee FC.
moment?
No, not United. Dundee FC.
Oh, Dundee FC.
So,
Yeah, there's two, isn't
so
there?
we came and went for the same kind of team from England. That's how we kind of compared it. So.
Oh,
And that's a
right.
few
Yeah.
years now, and we watch the streams and stuff like that as much
Have
as
you
we
ever been
can,
up
really.
to a game?
No, we've not been yet. We want to though. We were on about it last season, but we never went last season. We're like, okay, well, once we got promoted into League One, we're like, okay, we'll try and make it like an away game at least, somewhere close to Scotland.
I think your best bet would be probably Carlisle away. It's literally
Yeah,
right on
Carlisle
the
away.
border.
That's exactly what we were saying as well. That's probably what we're gonna go for if we
Yeah.
can.
Good thing about it as well is you can get train and airport there.
Yeah, that's it as well. We'd probably just drive, to be honest. Probably make a weekend of it.
Yeah, probably. Although there's not much to do in Carlisle, it is a pretty
No, there's
depressing
not.
place.
Just to leave.
Yeah. Hopefully take 3 points there as well.
Oh, we need them.
Yeah, we do. So what did you think of Saturday's game? Did you watch a live stream? Did you
Yeah, I
watch the
watched
game
live
live?
stream. Solid. Kind of ticked off from last season. I thought Graham, Archibald down the wing, solid. Pretty dominant as well. Would you not say?
Yeah,
We
yeah.
don't really think we started off well. Kind
I
of
mean, I was talking
composed.
to a couple of Cambridge fans, and I said I'd take a draw with them because I just
Yeah.
expected them to turn up and just play brilliant football, but they just didn't.
No, it's funny that because they're three wins of the season Cambridge have had.
Yeah, they were the
So
best.
I was
They were
expecting
the
that as
best
well.
team
To be
so
fair.
far. Yeah. Also, they had an ex-Orient player in their midfield, James Brophy. He didn't play very well. As but yeah, what did you think of their performance on the day?
I didn't. They're just a bit lackluster, wasn't it? But
Yeah.
it wasn't what you expected. Like when before obviously went into the game, you thought, okay, like you said, I'd take a draw as well. But I was kind of optimistic because we're due a win at that point.
Yeah.
Obviously we were going to get a win at some point, so I was like, well, it could be today, but I wasn't expecting it. I think we play Stevenage next weekend, so I was like, it's two tough fixtures coming up, so I was like, okay, take a draw with Cambridge. Never know what will happen at Stevenage, but no, I'm very happy with it.
Yeah, obviously we'll look forward. We'll talk about that in a minute. Who was your man of the match for the game? Yeah.
I'd say Archibald.
Yeah, obviously a fellow Scott.
Has got to be.
Yeah, he played very well.
He was solid.
He's given off a bit of that old Raul Jimenez look with the headband. But yeah, I thought he played really well. I didn't see much of Graham during the game, so I was actually surprised like how he got in team of the week and that. But obviously he played well. Tom James played brilliantly as well.
Yeah, defense as well. Daniel and Ed, quality.
Yeah, I think it was right to drop Omar. I do like Omar.
Yeah.
Obviously, he stands in as captain when Pratley's not playing. But I really like Ed, and I think Ed should replace him mainly. Like,
Yeah, no,
bring him
I'm
on
inclined to
loan.
agree.
and then just sit him on the bench all season. You know, that just feels wrong.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Um, um, who would you say, like, what was your score prediction before the game?
I'm not gonna lie. I said a draw. I said I'd take a draw, but honestly, I thought we were gonna get beat.
Yeah, I
That
mean,
was my thought. I was
it's
thinking
really,
Cambridge again, like I said earlier, on form, 1-0, 2-0 then.
yeah.
But
I
uh,
mean, really, on paper, they should have beat us.
oh yeah, easily. Like I was expecting them to be up playoffs,
Yeah,
right about.
although, I actually infiltrated their supporters chat looking for people because I'm actually chatting to a Cambridge supporter later about the game. So
Oh
I was actually in their groups trying to look for
yeah,
someone. And
spy.
after the game, they said that they need to sign players that have played more than 10 games a season. And they said that we'd actually finish above them, which I'll take. Um,
Yeah, I take that definitely.
but they obviously don't have high hopes for the season, as much as we,
Yeah,
as much as they maybe should have. But I mean, on paper, they should easily be beating us, form and stats and all that. Um, and I didn't think we'd score that easily, especially as in the early parts of the season we did lack goals, didn't we?
yeah, no, I know, but yeah, we did.
I mean, before that game, we
We
only
had
had two
chances as
goals.
well, though. That's the thing, but it could have been more.
Yeah. Talking
It could have
about
been more.
chances and creativity, Ethan Galbraith played brilliantly in that game. What did you think of him?
Oh, he
Obviously,
was
man of the
brilliant.
match on the
He
day.
he set up Ruel for
Ruels,
one on one
Ruels.
with the Ruels. Yeah, he missed an absolute sit. Well, it wasn't a sitter. He should have squared it.
Yeah. It was sort of like he brought it on a tight angle. Although I find
Yeah,
Ruel
yeah. I
does
don't know
that a
about his
lot.
shot though.
Yeah, I know. Ruel loves a shot. Ruel loves
He
to
loves a
shoot.
shot.
And that's what
He
happened
does.
with Ruel. Personally, Ruel is the most inconsistent player that I have ever known. Because he is literally he'll have a month where he'll score like 4 goals, and then he'll just miss every chance in the next game. It's a bit like
Yeah,
Almiron.
it's
Remember when
probably a good.
he won Player of the Month in the Premier League and then just was
Yeah,
silent?
just went. Yeah, after
Ruel did
Jack
that last
Grealish.
season as well.
He was class last season for a while though.
What do you think is his future though? Because there's not really like a big role for him. Obviously, he's got a lot of starts, but he's not a striker.
You got to keep him in the squad. He was there last season. It's just about staying in like the league, obviously, this season.
Yeah,
I think if we stay in, but I think well, I'm kind of slightly 50-50. I think we will stay in the league, but it's just whether or not, obviously, if we get to next season, we'll just have to obviously strengthen the
I
squad
think the
because I
rest of the
feel like
league has very polarizing opinions about us. I think half of them think we're going to finish like 17th or 18th, and then the other
yeah,
half will think like we finish 10th and like really shock the league,
yeah.
which
Well,
I
the
obviously hope happens.
first season's always the hardest season with promotions,
Yeah. What
so
did you think of the
I'll
transfer
take.
window? Sorry. What?
It's not bad. I
Uh,
feel like it was. I feel like we could do more
what?
areas. Where do you think?
Yeah. What areas would you strengthen personally?
Um, I'd probably say midfield.
I think we've got so
Midfield,
many
defence.
options there, though. I mean, defense
I feel
is
like
is a shout. Is a shout. Um, but obviously up front we might need to strengthen as well. I mean, our only decent striker so far has been Shaq Ford, and he's obviously on loan from Watford. Um, so we
yeah.
haven't really got a permanent striker that is prolific, and that's probably going to be a
What was
problem.
your? Did you think there'll be any more signings in the door? To end transfer window ends.
I don't know. I don't know. Although apparently there might be like one or two outgoings for like older players. A very hot topic at the
Yeah,
moment is George Moncur. Where does he fit in this side? Because he really doesn't. This is a very hard working side. What do you see for him? Where do you see his future at Orient?
your mic just
Oh,
went there a bit.
oh, sorry. Hang on, I'll just edit it later. Is it all right now?
Yeah, Keep going.
Yeah, sorry. What do you see in the future for George Monker? Because he hasn't had many starts or many minutes as you'd think he would. Obviously, being a very valuable player of ours. What do you see in his future for us?
He'll be here till the end of the season. That's for sure. Again, it's 46 games in the season. So
Yeah,
it's a long time. You need depth, you need players.
yeah.
So I mean, he's been with us since it came from Hull. He's been here what, a year and a half,
Yeah, I think I think he came in the summer before last
year and a
season.
half. He's been
Yeah,
here. I think he played in. I think he played for a Scottish team at some point. I
I
swear he played.
think he did. I think his
Yeah, I think
best
he's
years
played.
were at
I think he played up
Colchester.
here. He played up here for a while. I don't know. I feel like he did. I'll have to check that later on. To be fair, but
I
nah.
hope.
Again, it's just about. Sorry, go on.
No, you go. Sorry, I interrupted.
I just think it's about the bigger the squad you've got, the better it is. I mean, 46 games. It's a long season. First season up, as much depth as possible. You never know. Halfway through the season, he might reappear. He's a good midfielder.
Yeah, I
Not
think for
midfielder.
it to work though, he needs to improve his output. He didn't really output much. I think his output was saved by the penalty spot. Really, because he took
Yeah, it's
penalties
probably
for
true.
us. He seems like a nice guy though, and he seems nice enough.
How old is he now anyway? He's
I
like
think
getting
he's
on a
like
bit.
I think he's either
30s.
29. I think he's either 29 or like 31.
Yeah, he must be getting to his 30s now. Yeah, he's definitely got value. I think he's. I'm waiting to go
He is
check actually. I think
actually
he's
our most
30s.
valuable player on transfer
Yeah,
market.
but we played for. We got him from Hull, so
Yeah.
Championship club,
Um,
ex-Premier League.
I know. Next, we'll look on forward for Stevenage, obviously on the weekend. What do you think about that game? How do you think that's gonna go? How do you think we'll fare?
Um, well, they're somewhat flying. Well, not they're not flying.
Yeah,
Same
they
actual situation as Cambridge. Three wins, one draw, one loss. So they've started off really well, to be fair.
they had
So
really like a shock start to the season. They were second at one point.
yeah, I
Um,
wasn't expecting that, to be fair.
I mean, a lot of people had them going down. I sort of feel sorry for
Yeah.
Northampton as well because I thought they'll go down. Yeah.
Be funny if Derby went down. I know it won't happen, but
Yeah, I know.
that's
Another
what we want.
team struggling with that sort of thing is Wigan. Obviously, they're going through financial issues, having points docked left, right, and centre. Although they've been in very good form. What do you think of them?
Wigan. I don't know. Where are they sitting in the? Where are they sitting at the moment?
I
No, they're
think,
20. No, they're sitting below us. Wigan are.
yeah.
They're
No, but that's because they had
they're
a
sitting in.
points deduction. They had like
Yeah.
a
Oh
five.
yeah. So they did. I totally forgot. Yeah, they had, was it 8 points deducted?
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
So
Yeah. They
yeah. 8 points, or was it? Yeah, it was eight, wasn't it?
8 points it was. Yeah, I totally forgot about that.
So to be fair, they've been in great form, but no one knows because it's been difficult for them to even get off
No.
the positive mark.
Same with Reading as well. Did they not get points deducted?
I don't
They got. I
think
think.
so.
I think they got a point or something deducted.
Maybe are they going through financial issues?
Financial fair. Was it financial fair play?
Maybe they just
FPL.
overspent. Um, So yeah, Stevenage. What would be your score prediction for that?
Well, it's the same scenarios. Again, they're in form, but well, to be fair, we've drawn our last game. Well, we're at home again.
Yeah, that's a big
I
thing
feel like
as well.
that's a big thing. That's where I think we'll get our points this season at
Because we
home.
were very starved of home games in the first five, weren't we?
Yeah.
We only had one.
So I'm gonna go with optimistic 2-1.
I think that. Um, obviously last week Sol Bryn coming back into the side after we thought he had a broken foot. So bit mixed messages there. Feel sorry for Sam Howes though. I mean, it's a bit of a mess in the goalkeeper situation, isn't it?
Yeah.
What did you think of
Next
Sam
question.
Howes?
Mike, 1
Oh,
second.
sorry. Yeah, you alright? Is this okay?
Hello.
Hello. You okay?
Oh, right, okay, can you hear now?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Um, but yeah. Talking about teams that are below us. Charlton, who actually beat us on the first day, they are now
Yeah, I
90th
know.
below us. They have not won a game. I think this season we're going to have a bit of a curse. Teams, every time a team plays us, they end up doing terribly.
I hope so. My question for you is who's going to be your goal predictions, goal scorer predictions for Stevenage?
I think Shaq Ford could
Shaq
score.
Ford,
Yeah.
yeah.
But hear me out on this one. I think he could, just hear me out, get a hat trick.
A hat trick.
Because
I was going
I
to say a
was
brace, but you went a bit
I,
further.
I was looking at his statistics at York City, and on his second game he got a hat trick in a 4-3 win. So I'm just hoping he can repeat that. I mean, that would be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Another thing about going on, obviously playing Stevenage on Saturday, is we picked up a few yellow cards. So,
Yeah.
is it four?
Yeah.
Four, I counted.
Uh,
So,
yeah, probably something like that.
just,
They're a very physical
I think
side,
it was
though, aren't
four.
they? Stevenage, so
Yeah.
it'll be a good
Stevenage, yeah,
game.
they do getting about you.
Yeah, obviously they beat us 3-0 last year, but that doesn't matter really because
That's behind us now.
yeah, and we still
Does not
beat
matter.
them. So, um, listen, do you have to go now or
Yeah,
are
I'll
you?
probably have to head off now.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
it's been
long day.
great speaking
So
to you. If you ever want to come back
yeah,
and
anytime, mate.
yeah. If you
Just
ever want to come back and just speak Orient and waffle a bit, it'll be
yeah, of
great to have
course.
you back.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on, and I'll see you later. Okay?
Yeah, you know where to get me anyways.
Yeah. Bye bye. Bye bye. Hello, I'd like to welcome my next guest, all the way from Dubai, a Cambridge fan for 45 years, Nick. Hello, Nick. How are you today?
Well, thanks, Jack. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm great. How did you first become a Cambridge fan?
Oh, that was handed down through the generations. My grandfather, Cambridge United fan, my dad, and it was mostly my grandfather that took me um, in the 1980s. Predominantly would have been when I went a lot. And the first match I went to, and I was trying to think earlier when it was, would have been, I think it was September 1975, so a long time ago. I was only 6.
Wow, so you've been supporting Cambridge practically all your life.
All of my life, I'm born and bred. I was born in Cambridge. Most of my family were born in Cambridge. And when you look back on it, Cambridge United entered the Football League in 1970. Before that, they played in the old Southern League. So they played from 1970 to 2005, and then they got relegated back into Tier 5 to non-league. And then we regained our league status, I think it was in 2014.
Yeah, obviously you've been there throughout all of that. You've seen a lot of things over the years. Um, oh yeah, obviously you've been through a lot as a Cambridge fan.
I think when you support a lower league club, a bit like yourselves, really. I know Orient used to be in tier two, I think, in the 70s and 80s. When you support a lower league club, you have to go through the punishment, the ups and the downs. That's part and parcel of supporting your local community football club, I guess.
Yeah, obviously we're having the experience of going through it, only promoted back to the league in 2019 most recently. Um, so moving on to the present, you did catch Saturday's game, didn't you?
I did. A relatively new addition, which I guess most of the people watching this will have come across, which is something called iFollow. I've been living outside the UK for 15 years now. So whilst I do occasionally get to see a game when I come back for Christmas and holidays and stuff, generally I watch Cambridge United on iFollow. So I watched the game on that on Saturday.
Yeah, what did you think of the game from a perspective of a Cambridge United fan?
If I take a step back, I was excited at the end of last season, A, because we regained our status in League One, and B, when I saw who was coming up from League Two, you guys, Stevenage and Northampton, they're all three localish games for us. So that was something I was going to look forward to. And this game, especially perhaps because it's not far from Cambridge down the M11 to Orient, a game I've been to both home and away a lot over the years. And when I looked at the new season, I had actually had Orient finishing above us and finishing the highest out of the promoted clubs. And I think on Saturday, we saw that painful reality come to fruition.
Yeah,
If you're a Cambridge United fan,
obviously
of course.
every time you go into a new league, you always look for those away days, those games that you're going to be able to go to more easily
Yeah.
than others. And um, you know, it's always great to have clubs like Cambridge around because it's just a quick drive, as you said, up the M11. Um, it's always nice to hear that other clubs think well of you. How do you think Cambridge will actually do for the
Mm.
rest of the season?
I had you guys down finishing just quickly to finish that off 12th to 13th and us 16th to 18th. The issue Cambridge United have got historically, really, over the years is we tend to have one of the smallest, if not the smallest, playing budget in the leagues that we're in. We're only just starting to sort our infrastructure out. And I think this season we've probably got the second or the third smallest budget. So doing any better than the top 6 or 7 is always going to be a struggle. A lot of predictions were that we would be relegated, although not the bookies. The bookies, I think, had us down at 7th or 8th from the bottom. And that's pretty much where I think we'll be. I think we did make some wise acquisitions in the summer. I think Bonner's trying to sign 1 or 2 today before the transfer deadline finishes. However, I think where we finally finish will depend on the injuries that we do or don't get, simply because we don't have a big squad. And if we've got some injuries at the moment, we're suffering when we played you guys last weekend. That's no excuse, by the way. You beat us fair and square. But we've got 5 or 6 players out at the moment. So I think our success or lack of it will partially depend on that. So it'd be interesting to see whether Bonner gets somebody else in today or a couple in. But certainly lower towards the bottom half of the table for sure. We just don't have the ability, I think, to finish higher than that. Not yet, anyway. And if we were to go back down into to the fourth tier, it wouldn't be a surprise either. To be fair.
Yeah, obviously your early season form has been very against what many would have predicted. Obviously, top of the table on Saturday, before the game. You know, you were in some
Mm.
very, very good form coming into that game.
Yeah, I mean, I've been watching Cambridge United and all types of football for a long time, and I think I don't really give a serious look to the table. Obviously, it's nice to be on top, but we went from first to ninth last weekend when you guys beat us. I think you get a genuine impression of where the season's going to go after a dozen games. And when you looked at the fixture list, there was the potential for us to get a few points on the board the first 4 or 5 games, and that's the way that it's panned out. But reality, I think, will strike home once we've got those 10 or 12 games under our belt. Hopefully, 1 or 2 of those injured players will be back as well. I think after 10 games last season, we had 13 points, which wasn't a bad return. So if that's kind of a benchmark on progression or otherwise, then I'll be looking at the points total after 10 games this season and seeing where we are?
Yeah, obviously in the early games, every point seems so monumental because you know that everyone's fighting for points and there's not many points, so like 1 point could separate about 5 teams. But in the end, obviously you play everyone twice. Everyone plays the same amount of games, so you know it's all about how you perform over the whole season, not just the first bit of form. So we'll move
Yeah,
on to
yeah, true.
Saturday's game. Um, what did you think of just the performance of Cambridge and things like that, and just the game itself?
I think I had the game down as a 2-2 draw, and I think if we turned up, that might have been possible. But we were just outfought and outthought by Orient, and I think the three players for me that stood out, aside from El Mazzuni, who I think played for us for a little bit on loan from Ipswich, were Galbraith, Archibald, and Graham. And most of the Orient players won their one-on-one battles with the Cambridge United player, and they were quicker to the ball, just sharper. The passing was crisper, and when the first goal went in, the writing was on the wall. And I think the only thing that was probably wrong with the result is you could have got 3 or 4. And it pains me to say that because I wanted a better result for our team, but we were generally well beaten by yourselves. And I had a sneaky suspicion. I watched Richie Wellens being interviewed in the week. First time I'd really heard him speaking in depth, and he speaks well and he comes across well. And that's probably not a surprise because he led you to a good promotion and a good victory last season. So, yeah, overall, I wasn't surprised, especially understanding the fact that we had several key players out injured. But you fully deserved to win the match, and I found it entertaining nevertheless. It's never good losing, but I thought the match was quite good to watch generally. And yeah, big on the return fixture later on in the year. Huh?
Yeah, I feel that will be a good game. And also another link between the clubs. Ex-Orient player James Brophy playing for you on Saturday. What did you think of
Mm.
him? What did you think of him?
I think he needs to be dropped. I don't mean to be too harsh on the guy. I think when you analyse his stats, and I'm sure you've probably got access to those stats more than I have, um, he's played now quite a lot for Cambridge United. He doesn't really score enough goals, and I don't think he creates enough opportunity for his colleagues. He's quite dynamic. He's very quick in the first 15 yards. He's one of those players who's probably, if this makes sense, too good for League Two, but he's not really good enough for the better sides in League One. And he last week, I don't know how closely you watched him during the game, but he started to lose it a little bit. He was arguing with the fourth official. I thought he kicked out a couple of Orient players, like he was trying to hurt them. I don't know if you saw that. And he was lucky not to get yellow and or possibly even red carded because he I think he lost his rag, and I'm surprised he didn't get taken off sooner. You know.
Yeah, obviously playing at his old club, you know, the nerves probably got to him and things like that.
Yeah, I'm sure the
I
crowd are
know,
giving him a little bit of a
obviously,
dig, huh?
Mhm. Yeah, probably. Um, a couple of Orient fans were not happy with his performance, especially as we were his old club. Um, Now, obviously, you've not taken many positives from the game, but personally, who would be your Cambridge man of the match?
Mm. That would be a good question. Not many of them stood out to be. I mean, maybe one of the Bennetts, maybe one of the Bennetts. But I'm struggling. Definitely not James Brophy, that's for sure. Um, you put me on the spot with that. Oh, there's a young lad that came on at the end, but he was only came on for 7 or 8 minutes, so he would be. I'm trying to think what his name is now. It's Glenn O'Connell. If you notice, the young guy came on the right hand side for the last 7, 8, 10 minutes. He would be the only one that's probably deserves a mention. And I think he's only 18. He's just come out of our youth side. Bonner should have put him on sooner because as soon as he came on, the dynamic in the game changed. But it was too late by then. So yeah, Glenn McConnell.
Yeah, I mean, it does really prove that it wasn't a great performance that a sub that played for 8 minutes is getting shouts for man of the match. I think in that sort of performance, whoever makes the least mistakes is sort of considered for that. Um, but towards the back end, like the very back end of the game, towards stoppage time and throughout that, you did actually start to play well a bit. You started to piece something together, but it was altogether too late.
Yeah, it was too late, and I think we were panicked into playing too many rush long balls by your speed. The fact that you were winning a lot of the challenges, we started hitting the ball long too often. And in that last 10 minutes, we started to relax and pass the ball around and show that what we could do. But it was the game was lost by then. And in fact, as soon as you scored that second goal, there was only one result. There was no turning back at that point. After that, you guys looked like you could probably score another one if you wanted to, but you probably were just managing the game out because you don't get injured unnecessarily. And I think that was in the 57th minute you got the second goal, wasn't it? So
Yeah, it was the 57th minute. You did kind of play some very sort of Route 1-esque football, which I found surprising, and obviously
yeah,
it didn't work out for you in the game. It
no,
was
and it's not
sort of
the way
like
we
you
scored
were
our goals
scared
this
to
season
play
either.
on the carpet.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
think
I
we
was
lost our way.
surprised with how. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yes, okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much you've seen of the highlights of our other matches, but we certainly there's always a little bit of long ball involved with all teams, but playing the ball on the ground and attacking quickly, breaking quickly, and scored some really good goals. So it's a bit of a surprise, but I think it's really as much as criticising our own team, it was the main reason, the main motivation was you genuinely played well, and we didn't know what to do when you played well. There didn't seem to be a plan B. Maybe it's because of the lack of players available on the bench. You didn't have a lot of options on the bench because of the injuries. And as I said, when that second goal went in, when you still got half an hour left plus the injury time, there's still enough time for you to adapt and react. And we just didn't. We just kind of stagnated and went nowhere. So that was probably the most disappointing because, of course, you're going to go down 1-0, 2-0 in football matches, but you get tested and by your reaction at that point, and there was very little reaction at that point.
But yeah, of course, you said about stoppage time. With stoppage time this season, you sort of have to factor in an extra 10 minutes into the game. With that sort of thing, and you didn't really react to the goals, and you just didn't look like a table topping side. You know,
Yeah, we didn't,
if you
and I'm
you
not so
said.
sure that this day and age, players they understand the significance of certain matches. I mean, for the fans, the significance of playing Leighton Orient is obviously bigger than the players, unless there's somebody like Josh Coulson who would understand it. Do you see what I mean? So for us, it has a bit more
Yeah.
significance than going to Walsall or Lincoln City because it's Leighton Orient, and we've got supporters in London and in Essex. So we didn't look like we were up for it, which was probably the most, as well as the fact that we didn't react when we went 2-0 down. But the players didn't seem as up for the fight as you guys did.
Yeah, thank you for that. So finally, just a prediction. What do you think? Um, your table finish for Orient and your table finish for Cambridge.
Okay, I'm going to stick by my original projections, which is Orient 12th and
Okay.
Cambridge United 17th.
Okay. And then very finally, on the road, return trip. I know it's very early, but what do you think will be the score? Cambridge away or Cambridge at home in your case?
Well, funnily enough, I was actually back in the UK. I think it was 2019, not long before COVID struck, where you guys beat us 3-2 at the Abbey. We went 3-0 down. I was sat in the main stand with my two elder sons.
Oh,
Because
I
I
was
think the
actually at that
fixtures.
game. Yeah,
Yeah, were you? Okay, cool. Well, yeah,
yeah.
we lost 3-2.
Car
I
broke
think you
down on the
guys had
way
a sent
back.
off. Oh wow. Well, you didn't mind that
Yeah.
when you won 3-2. So yeah, I was back in Cambridge for Christmas for that. So I took my dad and my two sons to that game, and of course was smacked on the chin with you guys going 3-0 up in the first half, and then we almost brought it back in the second half. I think it could be equally entertaining. It's a different proposition. We're quite good at home, quite strong at home. So
Yeah, and we have a thing
what will
for
the
never winning
score
at
be?
Cambridge. So,
Yeah, I mean, I think overall we've got quite a good record uh, against you guys at the Abbey. I don't remember many losses for sure. So I would revert to the score that I thought Saturday was going to be. I'm going to go 2-2.
okay, I could see that. Yeah. Because obviously we're going to lose some games, we're going to draw some. I am going to say with a bit of confidence, I think we'll find our rhythm now. We'll start playing well. I'm going to say 2-1.
To the O's.
I'm going to say 2-1 Orient. Yeah, yeah.
And is this game is at
Um,
Christmas, Jack? Yeah.
yeah. Is it at Christmas? Really?
I, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I don't have the fixture list. I can bring it up on my screen. It often is that fixture
Yeah,
because
let
of
me
the
have a look.
proximity between our two clubs, right? So if it is, then I might be there. Maybe we could meet up because I might be back in the UK
Yeah,
for
yeah, that
for,
would be
for
good.
Christmas, and we could hook up and
Let me have a look.
enjoy
Cambridge,
a beverage or
Cambridge.
two before the match.
Uh,
And yeah, I'm sure it'll be
it's
nearly
the
a full house,
1st
and it'll
of
be a great one to
January,
go to.
actually. Yeah, it's
Oh
the 1st of
wow!
January. It's on New Year's Day.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, so you're
So
right. It is
I
near
haven't made any
Christmas.
plans yet because I was fantastic. Yeah, I was just back. I was back in the UK in East Anglia for 10 days from July the 25th to the August the 4th. Actually went back the day before the season started. So I didn't see the Oxford game, which we won. And I'm not too sure whether we're going to be back at Christmas or not. We might be. If we are, I'll let you know. And that would be definitely something I'd look forward to.
Yeah, yeah, it'd be great to have you on before that game as well. So, yeah, it's been great to have you on.
Super.
Uh,
Pleasure.
thank you for participating. And I'll see you later. Good luck for the rest of the season.
Good luck, O's. Thanks very much. Take care, Jack.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode. If you enjoyed, please let me know in the comments and tell me how I can improve. Thank you.